Hello everyone, in this video we are going to study about the columns and struts, and we will also see the when bending stress and dynamic stress acts on the column. So at first let us see what is a column and strut. So column is basically a vertical component over which axial compressive loads acts, and a strut is basically is a non-vertical structural element whose ends may be either hinged or pinned. So all such type of structures are known as struts. It may fail. Such type of structure may fail due to direct compressive stresses or buckling, or due to the action of both of them. Okay, so if it so crippling load is basically defined as the load at which our column buckles fails at that load. So the failure of the short column is mainly due to the axial compressive load, and this is the crippling load at which our structure it gets crushed down by this external acting load, and that is known as sigma c, that is the crushing stress. So next is when the column fails due to the buckling effect or the bending, that is mainly found in the case of the long column. So this is the bending of the column when the load acts at a certain eccentric distance. There are again certain assumptions regarding the Euler's columns theory, and there are certain end conditions for which we have to determine the Euler's crippling load. So let us consider the first case in which when both of our ends are hinged. So in this case you can see that if both of the ends are hinged, then at first we are going to determine the moment at any section at a distance x. So let its value be minus py. Equate this with this equation, then integrate it two times. This is its differential solution. By using the boundary condition, calculate the value of c1 and c2, put this value in this equation, and then you will get the value of the crippling load p equals to pi square ei over of l square. Similarly, for the case of the when one end is fixed and other end is free, we will use the same principle, and we will get this crippling value load. Similarly, if both of the ends are the fixed, in that case we will get again the crippling load value. In that case its value will be pi square el over of l square, and this is the last case when both of its aces are pin joint. In that case it will be 2 pi square ei over of l square. At the same time we can express such type of formula using the equivalent length formula, where we can just substitute this value of l by the equivalent length. So this is a summarized tabular data from which you can see that how for different end conditions these are the crippling value loads that we have calculated for various conditions. And at last we have the slenderness ratio, which is defined as the ratio of the actual length over the radius of gyration, and this is basically the slenderness ratio. Okay, so now we will just look into the other topic, which is the combination of the both the direct stresses as well as the bending stresses. In this case, when both direct and bending stresses, when the direct and compressive stress along with the bending stresses acts on any structural column, then it will induce the due to the combination of both of them, there will be a net resulting stress that will get induced in such type of material. That is basically the resultant of both of these stresses. So if you just go through it in a detail, then we will see that. Let us consider a case where it is subjected to this eccentric load P, and due to this eccentric load P, a direct and compressive direct and bending stresses gets induced in it. Like the direct stress is P over A, and the bending stress is given by this equation 6P times of U over A times of P. So if we just calculate the resultant of it, then you will get this equation of direct stresses when it is maximum and minimum at the extreme fiber CB and DA. Similarly, we can similarly this is the one numerical that you can go through it, and similarly we have the circular section also, and on where we can calculate the maximum bending stresses. Similarly, this is a case when eccentric load is provided eccentric to the x-axis and the y-axis, And similarly we can just use this equation and calculate the stresses at D, C, B and A. Okay, so next case is the kernel section. So the kernel section is also very important section, in which we know that at that particular section the value of the tensile stress is 0 and only compressive stress is there. Okay, so in this type of section what you have to basically do is that in this section, this is indicated by a rhombus over here. At this section the tension stress is 0 and we are having a compressive stress over here. Okay, so that is basically denoted by a rhombus over here. That is the kernel section for the rectangular section. Similarly we have a kernel section for the circular section, which is having a diameter of t/4. That's why it is known as middle quarter section rule. Okay, so this is the end formula that you can get this formula over here. If you just put the or include this shear stress greater than equals to 0, means the shear stress and the tension stress is 0 and it has only compressive stress, and then you will get this kernel section. Okay, so now in the next video we will study about the leaves and the circumferential stresses. Okay, thank you.